In the heart of a sleepy town, nestled among ancient oaks and crumbling gravestones, there stood an old, dilapidated mansion known as the Hawthorne Manor. With its ivy-covered walls and eerie silence, it cast a shadow of dread over the surrounding landscape. Legend had it that the mansion was haunted by the spirits of its former inhabitants, the Hawthorne family, who had met a tragic end many years ago. Some said they were cursed, while others whispered of dark rituals conducted within the mansion's walls. Despite the warnings and tales of horror, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to spend the night in Hawthorne Manor, eager to prove their bravery and debunk the stories once and for all. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world into darkness, they gathered at the wrought iron gates, their hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. With flashlights in hand, they ventured into the mansion, their footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and shadows danced in the flickering light of their torches. As they explored the rooms, they felt an oppressive presence weighing down on them, as if unseen eyes were watching their every move. Strange noises echoed from the walls, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. In the dim light, they stumbled upon a grand ballroom, its once beautiful chandeliers now reduced to twisted metal and shattered glass. Dust-covered furniture lay scattered across the floor, frozen in time like the remnants of a forgotten era. Suddenly, a chilling breeze swept through the room, extinguishing their torches and plunging them into darkness. Panic gripped their hearts as they fumbled in the blackness, searching for an escape. Then, from the depths of the mansion, they heard a soft, mournful wail that sent shivers down their spines. It seemed to beckon them, drawing them deeper into the darkness with its haunting melody. With trembling hands, they reached for each other, their voices trembling as they called out into the void. But there was no response, only the sound of their own frantic breathing and the distant echo of footsteps on the cold, stone floor. As they stumbled blindly through the maze-like corridors, they became aware of a presence moving among them, unseen but palpable, a presence that whispered of ancient sorrow and boundless rage. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the wailing ceased, leaving them alone in the suffocating silence of the mansion. But the feeling of dread lingered, hanging heavy in the air like a curse waiting to be unleashed. What horrors awaited them in the depths of Hawthorne Manor? Only time would tell, as the darkness closed in around them, swallowing them whole and sealing their fate within its walls. As the group huddled together in the suffocating darkness, their minds raced with fear and uncertainty. Each whispered breath seemed to echo through the empty halls, amplifying the sense of isolation that surrounded them. With trembling hands, they fumbled for their phones, desperate for a glimmer of light to pierce the shadows. But to their horror, they found their devices dead, drained of power as if by some unseen force. Panic threatened to consume them as they realized the gravity of their situation. Trapped in a haunted mansion with no means of communication, they were at the mercy of forces they couldn't comprehend. With no other option, they pressed on, their footsteps echoing through the empty corridors as they searched for an escape. But with each passing moment, the mansion seemed to twist and shift around them, leading them deeper into its labyrinthine depths. As they stumbled upon a grand staircase leading down into the darkness, a sense of foreboding washed over them. They knew that whatever awaited them below would be far more terrifying than anything they had encountered thus far. With trepidation, they descended into the abyss, the air growing colder with each step. Strange symbols adorned the walls, glowing faintly in the darkness, casting eerie shadows that danced across the floor. Suddenly, they heard it again, the soft, mournful wail that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. It echoed through the cavernous space, filling their minds with dread and despair. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the wailing ceased, leaving them standing in the oppressive silence of the underground chamber. But the feeling of being watched lingered, a palpable presence that sent shivers down their spines. As they cautiously made their way through the chamber, they stumbled upon a hidden passage concealed behind a crumbling wall. With no other option, they pressed on, their hearts pounding with fear and anticipation. But little did they know that they were about to uncover the dark secrets of Hawthorne Manor, secrets that had been buried for centuries, waiting for unsuspecting souls to stumble upon them and unleash a terror beyond imagination. What awaited them at the end of the passage? What horrors lurked in the shadows, waiting to drag them into the depths of despair? Only time would tell as they plunged deeper into the darkness, their fates intertwined with the malevolent forces that lurked within the haunted mansion. As they ventured further into the hidden passage, their footsteps echoing against the cold, damp walls, a sense of unease settled over the group like a heavy shroud. The air grew thicker with each passing moment, suffused with a palpable tension that seemed to strangle their breath. Strange symbols adorned the ancient stone, glowing faintly in the dim light of their flickering torches. They cast twisted shadows that danced across the walls, distorting reality into a nightmarish tableau. With each step, they felt as though they were descending deeper into the bowels of the earth, into a realm untouched by the light of day. And yet, there was a strange allure to the darkness, a pull that drew them ever closer to the heart of the mystery. Suddenly, they emerged into a vast chamber, its walls lined with shelves upon shelves of ancient tomes and crumbling scrolls. Dust-covered artifacts lay scattered across the floor, relics of a bygone era shrouded in mystery and dread. As they explored the chamber, they felt the weight of centuries pressing down upon them, as if the very walls themselves were alive with malevolent intent. And then, they stumbled upon a hidden altar bathed in an eerie, pulsating light. In the center of the altar stood a twisted figure, its form shrouded in darkness and decay. It beckoned to them with skeletal fingers, its voice a whisper in the depths of their minds. With mounting horror, they realized the truth: the Hawthorne family had not simply perished, they had been bound to this cursed place for all eternity, their souls twisted and corrupted by the dark forces that lurked within. But even as they recoiled in terror, they knew that they could not turn back. The fate of Hawthorne Manor and its malevolent inhabitants rested in their hands, and they alone held the key to unlocking the secrets of the past. As they prepared to confront the darkness head-on, they could feel the mansion itself stirring around them, as if awakening from a long slumber. And in that moment, they knew that their journey was far from over, that the true horrors of Hawthorne Manor had yet to reveal themselves, waiting patiently in the shadows for the moment to strike. With hearts pounding and hands trembling, the group braced themselves for the inevitable confrontation with the malevolent forces that lurked within Hawthorne Manor. As they stood before the twisted figure on the altar, they could feel the weight of its gaze bearing down upon them, its dark presence suffocating in its intensity. But despite the overwhelming fear that threatened to consume them, they refused to cower in the face of the unknown. With a steely determination, they prepared to uncover the truth behind the curse that had plagued the Hawthorne family for generations. Summoning their courage, they approached the altar, their footsteps echoing through the chamber like a drumbeat of impending doom. With each step, the pulsating light grew brighter, casting long shadows that danced across the walls in a macabre ballet. As they reached out to touch the twisted figure, a surge of energy coursed through their veins, sending shockwaves of pain and terror rippling through their bodies. But they held fast, their willpower a shield against the darkness that threatened to consume them. And then, in a flash of blinding light, the truth was revealed: the Hawthorne family had made a pact with an ancient entity, trading their souls for untold power and wealth. But in their greed and hubris, they had unleashed a terror beyond comprehension, a darkness that threatened to consume them whole. With horror, the group realized that they were standing at the threshold of a cosmic battle between light and darkness, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. They knew that they were the only ones who could put an end to the curse that had plagued Hawthorne Manor for centuries, but the cost of victory would be steep. With a silent nod of understanding, they braced themselves for the final confrontation, their minds steeling themselves for the horrors that awaited them. For they knew that only by facing their deepest fears could they hope to emerge victorious and banish the darkness from this world once and for all. As they prepared to confront the ancient evil that lurked within the depths of Hawthorne Manor, they could feel the weight of destiny bearing down upon them, its burden heavy but unavoidable. And in that moment, they knew that their journey was far from over, that the true test of their courage and resolve had only just begun. As they steeled themselves for the final confrontation, a sudden tremor shook the very foundations of Hawthorne Manor, sending debris raining down from the ceiling and casting the chamber into chaos. The twisted figure on the altar let out a guttural roar, its form contorting and writhing in agony as if it were a puppet being pulled by invisible strings. With adrenaline coursing through their veins, the group knew that the time for hesitation had passed. They rallied together, drawing upon the strength of their bond and the courage of their convictions as they prepared to face the ancient evil that had plagued the Hawthorne family for generations. But as they launched their attack, they soon realized that their enemy was unlike anything they had ever encountered before. Its form twisted and shifted with unnatural speed, its movements fluid and unpredictable as it lashed out with tendrils of darkness that sought to ensnare them. With each blow exchanged, the chamber reverberated with the clash of steel and the roar of otherworldly fury, echoing through the darkness like a symphony of chaos and despair. But despite the overwhelming odds stacked against them, the group refused to relent, their determination unyielding in the face of adversity. As the battle raged on, they began to sense a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness, a faint beacon of light that flickered in the depths of their souls, guiding them towards victory even in their darkest hour. Drawing upon this newfound strength, they redoubled their efforts, their resolve burning brighter than ever before as they fought to banish the ancient evil from this world once and for all. But just as victory seemed within their grasp, a sudden twist of fate threw their plans into disarray. With a deafening roar, the twisted figure on the altar unleashed a wave of dark energy that engulfed the chamber in a blinding maelstrom of destruction, tearing reality asunder and threatening to consume everything in its path. As the group struggled to maintain their footing amidst the chaos, they knew that they were running out of time, that if they didn't act quickly, all would be lost. With a silent prayer on their lips and the weight of destiny on their shoulders, they prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice in order to save not only themselves, but the world from the grip of eternal darkness. But what fate awaits our brave adventurers as they stand on the precipice of oblivion? Will they emerge victorious and banish the ancient evil from this world once and for all? Or will they succumb to the darkness that threatens to consume them whole, their sacrifice nothing more than a fleeting memory in the annals of time? Only time will tell, as the final battle for the fate of Hawthorne Manor reaches its thrilling conclusion. Just as the darkness threatened to engulf them completely, a sudden surge of energy coursed through the chamber, bathing the group in a warm, comforting light. With a collective gasp, they realized that they were not alone. The spirits of the Hawthorne family stood beside them, their ethereal forms glowing with an otherworldly radiance. With a silent nod of understanding, the spirits joined forces with the group, their combined strength pushing back against the ancient evil that threatened to consume them all. As the battle raged on, the chamber filled with the sound of celestial harmonies, a symphony of hope and redemption that echoed through the darkness like a beacon of light in the night. With each blow exchanged, the ancient evil weakened, its form flickering and fading like a dying ember in the wind. And then, with one final burst of energy, the group unleashed a devastating attack that shattered the darkness once and for all, banishing the ancient evil from this world and sealing its fate for eternity. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into the silence, the group looked around in awe, their hearts filled with gratitude and relief. The spirits of the Hawthorne family smiled down upon them, their eyes shining with pride and gratitude for the bravery and determination they had shown in the face of adversity. With a sense of peace settling over Hawthorne Manor at last, the group knew that their journey was finally at an end. As they made their way out of the mansion, they knew that they would carry the memories of their harrowing adventure with them always, a testament to the power of courage, friendship, and the indomitable human spirit. And as they stepped out into the light of the dawn, they knew that they had not only saved themselves, but the world from the grip of eternal darkness. For in the end, it was not the strength of weapons or the might of magic that had prevailed, but the strength of their hearts and the bonds of their friendship that had carried them through even the darkest of nights. And so, as they walked away from Hawthorne Manor, they knew that they had emerged from the shadows forever changed, their spirits tempered by the fires of adversity and their resolve unbreakable in the face of whatever challenges lay ahead. And as they looked towards the horizon, they knew that no matter what trials awaited them in the future, they would face them together, bound by the shared memories of their epic journey and the knowledge that they had triumphed over the forces of darkness against all odds.